Assalamu alaikum everyone. I welcome you all to another session of rediscovering the identity of Lahore. So today we have our speaker named Izhar He is a city and region planning graduate and the expert, a very senior expert in Lahore, and he has been serving the sector with his amazing skill and his interest in making the cities develop in cities develop in a way that strengthen the institutions and strengthen the social sector, the social development aspect of any city. Today in our episode, we have talked about the River Ravi as an identity of Lahore and what it is being planned upon, what it should be planned upon, and what the opportunities it must offer, and how any water body is concerned and is very significant for any city. So I hope all learn from this session about the importance of our River Ravi and how we are going to look towards it in the future and how we must pay attention to it in ways it should be paid attention to. So do leave your feedback after the session. I hope you all enjoy it. Asanul sir, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and how's it going?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay, so I'm very looking forward to hearing from you about River Ravi and the importance of water bodies in any city. And I feel deeply hopeless about how we are not utilizing or capitalizing on our water bodies, and we are just letting it be polluted, and just letting it go to waste and not being able to fully enjoy it in the way we should, in the way different developing countries are doing it. So we would like to
Right.
discuss about it and would like to share with people how we are having a very great strength and great spaces to be utilized and to share with people about it. So share I would like to ask, the first thing is, what is the importance or advantage of having any water body in any city, and in terms of generally in any city or in terms of Lahore in particular?
Well, for any sustainable urban development, the importance of water bodies, or what the urban designers call blue spaces, is very significant. These include rivers, canals, ponds, waterfronts, lakes, and so on. Now, these are sources of water, of course, but also food, recreation, and tourism. Now, water bodies also help in reducing carbon footprint and energy consumption because of rapidly increasing urbanization. Water bodies, they also help in reducing air pollution and encourage people to be physically active. People are more tempted to walk and jog or cycle along the water bodies than on roads. Now, there are also these are also one of the solutions to tackle climate change and lowering the temperatures. Now, it's a proven fact that the I have a call, and it's a proven fact that the positive impact of being close to water bodies in reducing stress and creating positive mood is much higher than being close to green spaces like parks and open spaces. Uh, Lahore is fortunate to have the river Ravi, uh, although it is no more a river as rivers are, but we'll talk about it later, and also a canal passing through the urban area. Unfortunately, apart from the problems of River Ravi because of its highly polluted water, there's also a problem of visual access to these water bodies, the river, the canal, the other water channels. These are blocked by buildings and other hindrances, which lower their potential in a broader urban context.
Right. So, according to you, what is the significance of River Ravi in determining the identity of Lahore?
Well, River Ravi is a major natural feature in Lahore's landscape, and thus calls for paying attention to the requirements of its biodiversity protection and the conservation of sensitive environmental characteristics. Uh, I'll talk about this Ravi urban development project later on, but I have to mention here that such projects, people argue that they are sort of converting the prime agricultural land into residential areas and into real estate development. But the fact remains is that the area near River Ravi, if it is planned in such a way that people come and live there, because urbanization is taking place in any case, the population is growing. If you do not have a pre-planned area or areas, then people will live on the water beds, wherever they can find a piece of land, legally or illegal. So it's better that Ravi uh, area, the land near Ravi, should be utilized for planned urbanization. And I think that's what has the main objective of that project. And it has been conceived much earlier in 2013. But it's good that the coming government it continued with that, because we have here a tradition that any project which is done by the preceding government, the next government does not sort of go along with it. So it has been continued, and Ravi has a great significance for Lahore, provided it is developed the way most riverfronts are developed, and it really doesn't cost much. I understand that there are certain reservations that a large number of trees are being cut, but I think one of the positive points of this project, urban development project of Ravi, is that they plan to grow, I don't know how many million of trees, and convert about 70% of the area will be under urban forest. At least that's what their official websites say. So, of course, apart from many other landmarks, many other identities, being the city of garden, the river itself is a great landmark, a great identity of Lahore, and I hope it will be developed properly.
Inshallah, yes, we're looking forward to it. Okay, so would you like to share the stories or any inspiring data aspect of history and the current state of River Ravi? Because this is something that constitutes the identity and the stories we hear, the folk stories we hear about Ravi and Lahore.
Okay, you know, Ravi once had clear blue water. It started to roll down from Himalayas around 2000 years ago and drains into Arabian Sea. River has been uh, feeding Lahore in a number of ways, in a number of different ways. It still is, in a way, positively or negatively. And it guarded the city from foreign invaders. Now, at one point, the river flowed adjacent to the Lahore fort and the Badshai Mosque. With the passage of time, the river changed its course, and now it flows a few kilometers away from Lahore city. But the old bed of river, called the Buddha Darya, uh, it passed adjacent to the fort, and the remains of that old bed are still there. Then there is a Kamran Baradari stand on a small island in the middle of riverbed, and it overlooked the historical city of Lahore. It was the summer marquee of Kamran Mirza, who was the younger brother of Humayun. It has been a favorite spot of the tourists, and the boatsmen used to carry them to the Baradari and back. Now, with the passage of time, the river turned into a contaminated stream. Ravi became undersized to meet the water demands of developing and rapidly populating Lahore. It is not really a river anymore. It is but a filthy stream contaminated by toxic effluents released by the nearby factories. Now, most of the time, the river carries sewage of the entire Lahore and its suburban areas. Now, it is now actually a hazard for Lahore as it has turned into a sludge. It can no more sustain aquatic life. Thus, it is crucial to treat wastewater before disposal in river, or more fresh water needs to be released into it to dilute the wastewater concentrations.
All right. So, from my parents and from my grandparents, what I've heard that Buddha Darya used to run through the Minto Park. It used to connect the lake of the Minto Park and the Buddha Darya and connect it to the Ravi in Shadra, near Shadra. So, do you have any personal stories from that time as well, or something that you remember, just
Well,
to relate to
I
it?
don't have a I don't have a personal story, but there
Okay,
are many stories, of course. You know,
of course.
Akbar built the Lahore fort, and Aurangzeb built the famous Badshahi Mosque. Now, as I said before, at that time, River Ravi touched the walls of the fort and the Badshahi Mosque. Uh, those who have been to the fort, they must have seen the Shish Mahal. But not many people have been to the basement of Shish Mahal because generally it's not open to public. Now, the basement was for the royal family who could live there in summer. It remained it, it remained cool during summers because of an extra floor laid underneath. Now, between these two floors, water from nearby river Ravi would run, thus keep the floor above cool. And then there are a number of fountains, and their water also ran underneath the floor and drained into the river Ravi. That's how the Mughal emperors lived. Then there was also the fort also had a secret room which was only for the king. Now, a window in that room opened towards Ravi, and during wars, the king could sit and watch the enemy attacks and observe the movements of the enemies. Now, additionally, there were secret tunnels that had been dug beneath the palace or the fort that would allow safe exit to the royal family in event of an attack. So there are many other details, but that's the crux, that I'm aware of.
Amazing. Yeah, I but just by how you have mentioned, I recall that we have the honor to visit the Summer Palace and just the basement of Sheesh Mahal with Sir Salimul Haq. He was our teacher, and yes, it was amazing time. It was like seeing the historical aspect and learning from how water bodies were utilized in any building. It was amazing, and yes, like you mentioned, thank
Yeah,
you so much for mentioning that because it's something that we must learn from the historical aspects,
that's right.
the
Yeah.
historical buildings. Okay, so what are the recreational activities that are being offered in the Ravi at the
Yeah,
Ravi?
but before that, I will sort of try to explain what should be there, irrespective of what the Ravi authorities are doing.
Definitely.
Most cities, they grow up around water. As you know, they evolve around water. But these urban birthplaces are the mothers of cities. They become polluted and ignored. The key to making a waterfront successful, like River Ravi, is to fulfill the needs of everyone who lives there, rather than focusing on demands of cars and traffic engineers and iconic designers and the real estate developers. It's very important. A waterfront has to be reimagined as a, what should I say, as a vital civic asset, and involve the entire community in shaping public spaces that reflect their aspirations. Now, the way to do that is uh, by creating multi-use, multi-dimensional uh, public spaces, attractive and engaging uh, places where many things to do. So people of all ages and backgrounds will want to gather there. It is important to remember that placemaking means more than just adding uh, distinctive or cool features to a location. It's about creating a place that engages people to do something more than look at it. It's about generating activity. We all want to join in that, connecting us with other people. So it's rather doing, participating, rather than uh, just looking. Now, coming to your question about Ravi Urban Development Project, this project is envisioned to be a planned city spread over about more than 41,000 hectares, which would make it Pakistan's second largest planned city after Islamabad. Now, the project aims to restore River Ravi into freshwater body and is expected to be one of the world's largest riverfronts if it matures. Now, it will accommodate 35 million people, and 70% of its area will be reserved for plantation of about, I think, 6 million trees, which will be converted into urban forest. Now, it has been conceived to comprise of 12 sectors and include a medical city and mixed land use area, residential area, commercial city, tourism, central city, knowledge city, sports city, and so on.
All right. So, do we see any sports facilities at Ravi yet?
But do we see any?
Sports, sports activities, something like that, like boating
Yes,
and
right now there used to be a bit of boating over there, but in this project, there is a separate sports city has been envisioned in the new city.
okay. So, all right. I have a question that if we are supposing that Ravi, we don't see water in Ravi as such. So how are these going? How are these this city development or the city project is going to have the water for its functioning? I mean, you get the
Well,
point.
they are going to build, a number of. They are going to convert water from the existing nearby canals into the river, and then they also plan to have uh, uh, construct a number of barrages and other infrastructure. And this is a bit of more technical aspect, which honestly I cannot explain. But
Okay.
there's a very good uh, history or very good rationale behind that. That's why actually they have started. They have done a feasibility by an international firm, and after that they started to plan it.
Okay, so like you mentioned earlier, that what you envision or what you think that it should be done in terms of the development and in terms of placemaking. So I would like to ask that why haven't we envisioned or why haven't we planned about capitalizing on the Ravi River Ravi as the waterfronts being capitalized in other parts of the world, in other
Yeah,
developing
right.
countries, with
Yes.
minimal effort and with more public utilizing and enjoying those areas instead of having cities develop or the land making them hype areas, the areas of hype, just having them develop naturally like they should be. What do you have to say on that?
It's a very good question. There are many good things that should have been done but have not been done. This is one of that good thing, because this Ravi is the not the only river. We have got many other rivers apart from the five rivers in Punjab. We have got much more rivers in Azad Kashmir, in KP, and those could be developed. It is not only for the hydropower, but they are a great source of tourist attraction, and they can be developed as waterfronts in many ways and generate revenue. Why it has not been done? It is our lethargy, our like in many other sectors, we are lagging behind, and we also did not pay attention to this. But it's good that now people are focusing on this project.
I'm glad that you acknowledge it that yes, we are lagging behind, but of course we can kickstart from anywhere at any
Of
time.
course.
And yes,
Yeah.
we are looking
Yes.
forward to it that we pay attention to it and do it with the minimal effort and find out ways that we can have generate revenue because and be more of independent country in terms of economics. Okay, so lastly, I would like to ask about the river urban development project. What do we have? What have been planned till now, and what we are looking forward to it in future? If whatever you have, whatever you know about
Uh,
it.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you partially because the can you repeat the question? Was
Sure. I would like to know about the River Ravi development project that has been planned till now and that we are looking forward to in future. What are the concerns from the urban planner perspective and from the planning perspective? Definitely from the urban planning perspective. I would like to know about that.
well, I think cities are for people. So there's a large population which is currently living in that area. So simply bulldozing their houses and pushing them out will be a will be a very cruel decision, and I'm sure the government will not do that. The best thing would be to involve those people in the planning and to sort of give them proper incentives, not only in terms of money but also in terms of land uh, that they presently have, and return that land, developed land, uh, so that people have a sense of belonging and ownership to that, and they don't feel deprived that they have their land has been forcibly taken away. Uh, Plus the idea of urban forests, it is there, on paper, but I hope it matures, because it's very important that you have a lot of trees so that you can attract more biodiversity. You can have more aquatic life in the river when it is properly developed. So I what I'm to sum up, what I'm trying to say is that we must give humane consideration plus the environment as a whole.
Yes, I agree with you, and I'm glad that people in our urban areas, urban field is very focused on this as well. And thank you so much, sir, for your time. It was very informative and insightful session. I was lacking information in this area of Lahore, and with talking to you, I have learned a lot. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to having it published and having the feedback from people. A
My
lovely
pleasure.
talk.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Okay.